What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, and today we're going to be checking out the top 5 gaming mice from 2018. Judging from things like my experience with them, their overall sales, their ratings, all that stuff to see which were the best in the last year. If you see any you like, I'll have them all listed for you in the description down below so you can check them out. We'll also talk about some honorable mentions as well as some other budget Amazon options. Now first off is all about versatility, and that's the Razer Naga Trinity. And this has 3 modular side grips, which are going to be great for swapping to fit any sort of game that you prefer. And that's the #1 factor that makes this mouse so great. You have your standard 2-button side, one has 7 buttons in this ring layout, then you have a 12-button configuration. These are going to be good for games like MMOs or MOBAs, setting macros, all that stuff with these. They magnetically snap into place with these pogo pins, and then you're good to go right from there. So obviously making this very versatile for anybody. As you can see, you still have all the chroma lighting zones, you could swap out the colors, mix and match. And inside you have a 16,000 DPI 5G optical gaming sensor. I would say it is a bit on the larger side and is kind of wide, and this does weigh between 118 to 123 grams, depending on which side grip you have on, so it is also on the heavier side. So my experience has been very positive, and I can just see this mice being a very great option for anybody, because gamers can take advantage of all those buttons, photo and video editing with all the macros on the side. This can really be a great mouse if you use it, to its potential pretty much. This comes in at $90. Next up is the SteelSeries Rival 600. This came out just around a year ago back in January and has been one of their top selling mice of the last year. Now one of the things about SteelSeries is they use CPI, and this uses their TrueMove 3 12,000 CPI optical sensor, and that's kind of different from the usual DPI sensor from most gaming mice. The difference here is CPI is counts per inch, while DPI is dots per inch, so here you're getting true 1-to-1 tracking versus DPI's pixels. It's not a big adjustment once you start using it, but then once you do, the 1-to-1 tracking is just very accurate. Another thing about this mouse that makes it so popular is the sensor they use also allows for the lowest and most accurate liftoff distance compared to any other mouse on the market. Again, here with the Rival 600, you have different lighting zones with their prism lighting. Even though your hand's going to cover up those lighting strips, it still looks pretty nice. You have these really comfortable rubber side grips on both sides. Then on the right side where your thumb is, you have 3 buttons there. This weighs 96 grams, although it does feel lighter than that, which means the weight is distributed properly. But they also include some modular weights where you can take the side grips off, put them in the sides. Each weight weighs 4 grams, so it can be up to 129 grams total. So the SteelSeries Rival 600, their flagship release from 2018, one of their most popular. The second you start using it, it's gonna be hard to go back to anything else. Next up is the Logitech G502 Hero, and yes, while this is still an older mouse, this is the newer 2018 re-release with the Hero sensor inside. It's basically that same G502 mouse you're all used to, but with 3 specific changes. First, while very minor, is the new updated Logitech G logo. If I didn't even point that out, you probably wouldn't have noticed. Second is they have a new cable here to prevent permanent kinking like some of their other mice did in the past. It is still braided, but like I said, the cable itself is not going to kink as easily. And the third change, which is obviously the most popular, is their newer 16,000 DPI Hero optical sensor. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know the G502 has been my go-to since like 2014 at this point. The scrolling wheel tilts for extra inputs, and you have their infinity scroll, which is just one of the most satisfying scrolling wheels to date. Not only that, but then on the left side where your thumb sits, you have this integrated sniper button, they call it, which you can program to lower your DPI, just to be real precise, or you can change this to be whatever you want. This one's a bit on the heavier side at 125 grams, but underneath the mouse, there's places for you to store in these modular weights. They each weigh 3.5 grams for an additional 18 grams total to add to the mouse. So the G502 Hero comes in at $80, although the regular G502 Proteus Spectrum from years past is much cheaper than that, but again, it's their newer 2018 release, and you already know it's still my go-to mouse. Now next up is going to be the only wireless gaming mouse on this list because it's the one I trust the most. That is the Corsair Gaming Dark Core RGB SE. This has some pretty cool features as well. So obviously when it comes to, gaming and PC gaming, wireless is gonna, raise some eyebrows. You have to worry about the battery life, potential lag, but those are both pretty much non-factors here, which is why it's such a popular mouse. And the Dark Core has absolutely 0 lag with their 1 millisecond 2.4 gigahertz wireless connection, and it also has an option for using this over Bluetooth, which is built in. This also has a 16,000 DPI optical gaming sensor that inside their software you can adjust the DPI in increments of 1. So if you want to set this at 221 or 5013, you can. In terms of its shape, it does remind me of the G502. It's laid out kind of the same. It's a bit on the larger side and weighs 128 grams, but this one also has some flexibility here with interchangeable side grips. And that should help with how you prefer to grip and use the mouse. It is coated with this kind of anti-sweat texture for a better grip. And you can see it's a kind of bumpy finish as well, which looks kind of cool if it hits the light properly. And on the side, you have 5 buttons there right at thumb's reach. You can change all those buttons inside the software, as well as the RGB lighting and stuff like that. Again, I use that one button to be like a sniper button. But the one cool thing about this mouse in regards to its battery is it has Qi charging built in. This is often sold and bundled with their MM1000 Qi charging wireless mouse pad, so you can place this on the mouse pad and it will start to charge wirelessly for you. But if you don't have that mouse pad and you already have like a phone charger lying around, you're like one of those wireless Qi charging ones, you can set this on there and it will just start charging wirelessly. That is a really rare feature. I don't think before this mouse came out, beginning of the year, that any other mouse had the capabilities. So you can pick up their charging mouse pad and take advantage of that, or if you just, like I said, have one for your phone already, wirelessly charge it with that. So for the wireless Corsair Darkcore RGB SE, it is $90, but if you want one without the Qi charging capabilities, you can pick up the same mouse without that for just $70. And the next mouse I'm going to talk about is probably one of the most popular of 2018 and also one of the most rare. I know a lot of gamers do know about this, and if not, you are definitely missing out. This is the Final Mouse Phantom Ultralight. And it gets that name because this thing is extremely light. It feels like a feather pretty much. Also because of this cord. This cord really makes it feel wireless. Now obviously with a regular gaming mouse, when you're using it, the reason they sell, mouse bungees is because of the cord. Sometimes the resistance, it'll get caught up on something. You don't want that cord to affect your mouse, and oftentimes it does. Usual mice cords are too heavy or too stiff, but with the Ultralight Phantom, it changes the game. And take a look for yourself. There is practically zero resistance with this. It's not affecting my mouse. I know it has that like sky blue look to it, and I'm not gonna make this comparison because of that, but I compare this to like cotton candy and the fact that it is just like so light as a thing. It's like air pretty much, That's what I can compare this mouse and its cord to. And if you take a look at it, it looks pretty unique too. As you can see with the perforated like honeycomb design on the top, it has these holes cut out. And yes, it's gonna help for like ventilation so your palms don't get sweaty, but the main reason here is because of the weight. It only weighs 67 grams. That's like the weight of most of the mice we showed off today cut in half. Inside, it does have a PMW 3360 PixArt sensor, which was designed for esports, so you know it's reliable, and it goes up to 3200 DPI. Not 32,000, not 32 million, keeping it reasonable at 3200, which most people will never go over. And my experience with this has been amazing. I have never ever used a mouse as light as this with their Phantom cord here. It really feels like I'm using a wireless mouse that just is, I don't know, a shell of itself, because it's so light, it's crazy. No RGB lighting, nothing unnecessary here. This thing is awesome. Because of this new Phantom cord and just the mouse overall, this is very, very rare. It's sold out on their website like right away, and it's very overpriced on like eBay and stuff like that. This thing's like catching a mew. This originally launched for $90, and I really hope they can get it back in stock soon. And then for an honorable mention, we have the Roccat Cone Amo. As you can see, it definitely takes advantage of RGB lighting with these zones for that extra flare and stuff. It's definitely a flashy looking mouse, and it weighs 130 grams, so again, a bit heavier. As for the inputs, you have this kind of tri-button thumb zone here, all programmable, and this has a 4D Titan wheel, they call it. Now underneath, you get 12,000 DPI with their own Roccat Owl Eye optical sensor. So it's a flashy looking mouse for sure, looks like something out of Tron, and it comes in at 80 bucks. Alright guys, that'll wrap it up for the top 5 gaming mice from 2018. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget, I'll have them all listed for you in the description down below so you can check it out. Plus some other options, because having more options is always a good thing if you're looking to pick up a new mouse, so hope you can dig that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And lastly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day.